cart. I never really actually felt like having a book cart. People have been having them for years and I don't know, I've just never really felt the need to, but recently I'm feeling like I just need some extra room to put some books. Like I want to have an area where I can put books that I'm wanting to read like pretty soon. Once I've finished books that I'm currently reading, like get to one of those books. If that reason is if it's part of a book club coming up, or if there's an author talk I want to go to soon, just so I can see it somewhere and think like, oh yes, I need to read that book. Because at the moment all my shelf space is completely full. I got rid of one of my bookshelves recently and you either would have seen that video of reorganizing my study or you will be seeing it after this one. I am just finding it difficult now to place books in the sections that I want to place them, because I have organized my bookshelves in genre, not too like rigidly. I also don't want to have books hidden. Like as it is now, I'm kind of trying to find like nooks and placing them in, and I have things in front of some of the books. I just want there to be a little bit more wiggle room in terms of where I can place the books and where I can place like the little knickknacks I have on my shelf, so that I'm not hiding books that I want to display and that I'm not like forgetting about books because they're hidden behind things, or I'm not having to double stack them on the shelf because there's too many. I've been really trying lately to not buy books that like I don't need, because I have many that are unread and I'm scared to count how many to be honest. Especially this year, I'm really wanting to focus on less buying and focusing on actually purchasing, less buying and actually reading them, and having a specific plan of what I want to read, and not feeling, because I'm at the moment I think I'm looking at my shelves, I'm feeling very overwhelmed by all the books that I see. Like I'll be like, oh, I'll read this one. Oh no, wait, there's this one. I want to read this one. Oh no, wait, I have to read this one. And yeah, it's stressing me out, and it shouldn't stress me out because it's supposed to be fun. So I'm just trying to find things that are gonna help reading from this many books as manageable as possible. And if I need books by my reading chair, I can have. If I need them by my desk, I can move it there. Yeah, that's my thought process. Hopefully it just doesn't turn into another place where I just shove books. Yeah, I need to hold myself accountable for the amount of books that I'm buying and I don't need. And I know many of us in book spaces not only like reading but also like collecting books, or like being able to display books, things like that. Displaying books is something that like I really do enjoy, and like owning them, it just really makes a space feel really lovely. I think I've always had like my books on display even since I was a kid, so it's kind of like a comfort thing as well. I feel like, I don't know, as we get older, responsibilities change. It's harder to read as many books as I used to read, and I also get distracted really easily. I feel like lately it's hard to focus on the book, and I'm always thinking about other things. I'm always wanting to focus on other things. It's odd, I never used to be like that. This rambling is basically just to say I want a book cart. A place to have a section of my books that I want to get to soon, so that I can have them and see them visually in that section. Like I said, I don't have any specific space on my shelves where I can like clear it or like reshuffle the books and like have those books there. I feel like I just don't have that space, but that's okay. Not the end of the world by any means, just my preference. This is the one that I got. Hopefully it's good. The woman scanning my barcode as I walked out of Kmart said that it's a good trolley, so hopefully that's true. Alright, I'm gonna build it. just had these like plastic washers that needed to go in between this bar and the tray, and they were like really difficult to get into position. It was a whole thing. That was the hardest part. It wasn't difficult, just fiddly, that's all. But thankfully it's done, and I'm going to start adding books to here now. Okay, I'm back. This is what I have for now. Books that I want to be reading soon. This is not including my books that I've started. I have about 18 books that I have started that I haven't finished, and it's not that I want to DNF them, it's not that I don't want to continue on with them. I'm just like an intense mood reader, and if I'm just not in the mood at the time, I lose interest really quickly. Like I said in the beginning, like I've been finding reading like as an adult harder than it was when I was a kid, in that when I'm reading a book I can't just like read it fully. I a lot of the time read a chapter or two and then I'm like, nah, not in the mood for this, then I move on. But to me in my head, like I've already started the book. So there are all these books that I have that I want to do a series on, of like finishing books that I've already started. So that doesn't include these books. These books are books I haven't read before, but books that like at the moment I'm really wanting to read next after the things that I'm currently reading. The first one is This Poisoned Heart. This book, it's fantasy, it's about like plant magic, and I've read the synopsis, I don't remember the details, but pretty much plant magic and fantasy, and really that's all I need to know, so I'll put it here. The next book is Beauty Queens. This book has been around for a really long time. If you were around when like booktube was a little baby, like, everyone was talking about this book when it first came out, and I think at the time I didn't get it because there were a lot of mixed reviews. I think it was hyped up so much. It was one of those, I think because Libba Bray was doing the Diviners series, and like that got such great reviews, and then people picked this one up and it just didn't have the same, people felt like it wasn't as good. But I found this in an op shop one day for like, it says $4, but I could have gotten it for less because a lot of the times the op shops have like just randomly 50% off, or randomly they'll discount the books. So I don't think I paid for, I think it was less. But yeah, just like kind of horror. It's like about beauty queens that get stuck on an island and then people die, and then it's about fighting to save themselves. Anyway, I'm just wanting it to be like a fun read with like not that much like emotional interest. I kind of just am in the mood for like really light, not stressful at all books. I feel like even some of the romances I've been reading, I've just felt stressed reading them because of the conflict that like authors create in the romance. It's like, why does there need to be conflict? Anyway, I digress. This is why this is on my immediate TBR. It should be pretty quick to read, and the text is like pretty large, so. Cemetery Boys. This is a book I've been wanting to read for so long. Like when it first came out, I wanted to read this. It's about, I think, people summoning ghosts and magic, things like that. There's LGBTQ rep. I'm not 100% sure what exactly, but I just really want to read this book. I also randomly found this at an op shop. It's like brand new condition for $2, and I could have gotten it less because of the sale thing that I was mentioning before, but like a different time. For some reason op shops have sales all the time, which I don't understand. Everything's cheap anyway. So anyway, this one's something I want to get to really soon. This book is Chlorine. I only became aware of this like towards the end of last year. I'm not too sure if it was newly published or not. Yeah, it was published last year. It's about a girl who is on a swimming team and is a mermaid, or thinks she's a mermaid or something like that. There's darker, it touches upon mental health as well, I think. Not 100% sure, but I have heard good things. And also I'm just like obsessed with mermaids, so like anything that has mermaids in it, I just want to read it, even if it's like pretend mermaids. It's fine with me. This one is A Very Easy Death. This book is about the author herself, Simone de Beauvoir, it says recounting her mother's death. I feel like I will relate to this book a lot because I've experienced that as well. So I feel like that's the kind of memoirs that I'm really drawn to, is like memoirs that touch upon that issue and the way it's dealt with. I feel like even though people who have gone through that like experienced it in a very specific way, no matter how specific I've read the experience, I always really relate to it, because there's just something about writing a real experience. And this is why, if you've ever done any writing courses or anything like that, like the best kind of advice that can be given about writing is be super specific in anything you write about, like really specific about details, and people can relate to it more, which you would assume that like it would be the opposite, like you make it more general, the more people can relate to it, but that's not the case. Like the more general something is, the less emotion it has, the less like humanity it has. Even if I never experienced something in that specific way, it still like strikes a memory in someone, or it strikes like an emotional chord that's like so specific that only being specific can spark that emotion. If that makes sense. Basically, I just want to read about this. I honestly haven't really looked at the reviews. The only reason I picked it up is because I've heard the author writes well and her books are great, so hopefully this one will be good as well. This, I have to be in a very specific mood to read this, and I probably won't read it all at once, even though it's really tiny. But yeah, anyway, I want to read it soon though. I haven't read a memoir in a while, so. The next book is Lonely Castle in the Mirror. This I've had for a while, and when I first heard about it, I really wanted to read it because like partly it was like one of the book club books that I'm in, and also like just the concept of Narnia. I'm pretty sure I've talked about this on this channel before. This is kind of fantasy, and I'm in the mood for fantasy at the moment. I haven't read a fantasy, I feel like, in quite a long time. Like that specific type of fantasy that I'm after, I don't know what it is, but it's a specific type, if that makes any sense at all, which it doesn't even really to me, but that's how I feel. So maybe this will satisfy that, I don't know. But anyway, this one. Another book is Powerless. I have seen this everywhere, and I feel like everyone's reading it, everyone's talking about it. It's like a really popular book, to the point where I was really put off by it, and I was like, don't want to read that, no interest in that. And I then read a review about it. I can't remember the review, I just remember the vibes, and that this book like had vibes and was like fantasy. I don't know, like I said, like I'm in the mood for fantasy at the moment, and from what I understand, the impression I got is this book's very easy to read, and that's what I want, is just like easy fantasy. I love fantasy that's like full of politics and intrigue and things that need solving and things that need thinking about and uncovering and blah blah blah, all that stuff. But also sometimes I just want easy fantasy, and hopefully this will be that. The next one is Laura Olympus Volume 2 graphic novel. This series I really like, but these graphic novels are so expensive. So I read the first one I think last year, and I haven't been able to bring myself to purchase the next one until like just recently, when I got some credit to use to buy this. I really enjoy the series. It's very cute. I love the humor as well, and yeah, I really want to get to this soon because it's just like fun. I mean, there are dark themes as well, but like there's also really fun humor. Greek gods are fun, even if they are all mentally unstable. That's okay, not me all. Next one is Dolly Alderton, Good Material. I initially heard like amazing things about it when it first came out, and then more recently I'm starting to hear a lot of like negative stuff about it, and partly I want to hear about it myself, and partly it's because one of the book clubs I'm in, it's the book of this month, so I just want to read it to know for myself. That's really all. I'm just really curious, and I sometimes just have to know things. Whether that means I'll actually read it will be seen, but I started Everything I Know About Love, and I really enjoyed it so far. Like I was talking about earlier, about writing in a really specific way to like elicit a specific emotion in someone, even if you've never had that exact same experience. That's how I felt like reading the first part of Everything I Know About Love. I haven't read the whole thing. I feel like I will like it, but yeah, like I said, I haven't read it. So I want to read that one as well, because Dolly Alderton's coming to Melbourne in December, and I kind of really want to go. So yeah, this one I'll probably pick up soon. I don't know, we'll see. Like, yeah, I'm not good at reading. Anyway, we've established that. The next book I want to read soon is Minor Detail. This book I've heard a lot of good things about, in that it's a very tragic story, also very relevant at the moment to read about this history. It's something that, yeah, I think is really important to read. So I will be picking this up soon. Another book is Ripe. I heard about when someone posted an ARC review of the book, and it just immediately got me hooked on this, and it's so beautiful. Yeah, I think it's kind of like body horror, which I don't mind every now and then. So when I'm in the mood for a bit of horror, and I feel like I am, I want to read this one. This one is The Rachel Incident. This one is a relatively new release, I think. I heard about it and I heard a lot of people talking about it. Initially I didn't want to pick it up, but then it became the book club pick for 2 book clubs that I'm in. From the review from those people, I saw that they really, really enjoyed it, and this is gonna be read soon because of that. And the last one I've chosen is Babel, the author being Arif Kwong. I recently saw Arif Kwong in person at an author talk, and she was amazing. I finished Yellowface recently and I really enjoyed her writing style and the way she tells stories. Also, this is signed. I've been meaning to read this for the longest time. I just haven't for some reason. It is fantasy, like I said, I'm in the fantasy mood, so I want to be reading this soon. These are the books I've chosen so far. I'll probably choose some later on, we'll see, to fill it up, because there's 2 full empty shelves. I don't want to rush though, I'm just going to take my time filling them. I might just put some camera stuff down here in the meantime. Even just this small amount has really given me a lot of room to rearrange a little bit up on my shelves, so that'd be good, because I don't like them looking too crowded either. I don't like when they have a lot of books stacked on top and shoved in all the nooks and crannies. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you want to follow me on Instagram, I talk about books and I review books when I read them and have discussions there. The link is down below, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!